Hello, I'm Barry Watts with another edition of Watts on Wealth. Today we're going to talk about the number one concern of thousands of retirees we've surveyed over the past 30 years. It's simple and it makes a lot of sense. The top thing they want to be sure they do in retirement is this: don't run out of money. Retirement is all about income. You've quit your job and stopped receiving a paycheck. So planning your income every year for the rest of your life is critically important. You can be very rich, but if you don't know how to turn that wealth into consistent income, it doesn't do you any good. Having more income is unquestionably better because the more income you have, the better trips you can take, the more you can do with and for the kids and the grandkids, the better health care you can afford, and more income simply provides you with more choices. At WealthCare, we believe everybody has what we call a sitting on the porch number. That's what it costs you to live every month. That's groceries and utilities and insurance and lawn maintenance and gasoline and car payment or replacement, things like that. So we're going to build an income plan that helps be sure that you can sit on the porch if that was what you chose to do. An income plan is where you tell us how much you need to sit on the porch and how much money you have saved in your retirement accounts. And we'll then tell you what you need to do to have that money not run out before you're 100 years old. An income plan isn't just for 1 year, it's for every year, the rest of your life, and it must cover both spouses because when one spouse dies, what happens to the family income? Well, Social Security is reduced. Do you think when you're dealing with grief, that is any time to take a hit to your income? Whether you need $5,000 to sit on the porch today or $10,000 each month, it'll be a lot more than that 10 years from now. So you must build annual cost of living increases into your income plan. Here's how people run out of money. When you're working, you're putting money into the bucket. The market goes up and down and the value of the bucket changes, but it doesn't really impact you because you're still working. However, when you retire and start taking money out of the bucket, that's when it gets risky. Let's imagine you're 73 and you start taking a required minimum distribution of just 4%. By the way, if you fail to take your distribution, the penalty from the IRS is 25%. That means if you were supposed to withdraw $10,000 and fail to do so, they're going to charge you your normal tax, let's say that is 30%, and then another 25% penalty on top of it. All total, that would be 55% in taxes and penalty on your $10,000 required minimum distribution. $5,500 would go to the IRS. Now, if you're working with WealthCare, we're going to remind you about that and be sure that you know to make that distribution in a timely way. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think the stock market is going to go down at least one time during your retirement? So let's say your account in the first year goes up by 10%. And you make a 4% withdrawal. What was the net change in your account? Positive 10, negative 4. Your net change is a positive 6%. Now let's say in the second year that your account goes down by 10% and you make a 4% withdrawal. What's the net change in your account? Negative 10, negative 4 is a negative 14. So over those 2 years, when you average them together, your account has lost 8% of its value. What if that happened 3 times in a row, like 2000, 2001, and 2002? What if it happened in 2008 when the stock market lost 38% and you withdrew another 4%? That's a negative 42%. There's simply no way to recover from that. There is no mathematical way to save your retirement if you had that experience. In 2022, the stock market lost over 19%. That year, if you withdrew 4%, you'd be down a total of 23%. That's a quarter of your nest egg destroyed in 1 year. Now, many people say, well, I wouldn't worry about that. It will come back. But let me show you something. If your account went down in value 20% and you're earning a 5% return, how many years would it take for your account to recover? 5 years. But if you lost 40% like in 2008, it would take 10 years for your account to recover. And if you're earning 5% and withdrawing 4%, you're really only making 1%. So in that case, your account would never recover for the rest of your lifetime. Our great pleasure is to serve people who are on the cusp of retirement or who have just entered retirement and suddenly figured out that maybe they need to get their plan in better order. I'm reminded of someone who recently came to see us. They were early in retirement and they were doing well with nearly $3 million in retirement assets. But They hadn't dealt with the taxes, which are huge on a $3 million IRA account. They hadn't done anything about long-term care planning or Medicare. They hadn't thought about estate and legacy planning. And worst of all, when we designed an income plan for them, we discovered that even with $3 million, they didn't have enough money to get them to age 100. Now, you may not have $3 million. And you may not need the kind of monthly sitting on the porch money that they wanted. But let me ask you a question. How is your retirement income plan? Are you sure you won't run out of money? If you don't have your retirement house in order, call us. Every day we help people just like you design a retirement that allows them to breathe easier and retire with more confidence because they know where their income is coming from and how long their money will last. Reach out to us today by calling 417-882-1726 or visiting our website at savingyou.taxes.com, where you'll find additional ways you can connect with us. If you like this content, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, What's on Wealth, or go to savingyoutaxes.com for more information.